All right, everyone, I wanted to walk you through Lab 3.7. This is the last lab for Earth Science A. And so let's get started. This is identification of minerals. We've talked about the 5 characteristics that we need to identify minerals. In this lab, we're going to be looking at color, luster, streak, and hardness. So we're looking at some of the properties that allow us to identify them. In the assignment, you are given, in the lesson itself, you are given a list of, or you're given these 4 unknown minerals. It shows you a picture of them. It shows you a picture of a streak test. That means that that mineral was rubbed on a piece of porcelain, and a scratch test. You can't see it very well here or here, but down here and down here, you can see that the mineral was used to scratch a piece of glass. So you can see that these 2 minerals were able to scratch the glass, and the 2 up here were not able to scratch the glass. So let's look ahead first at the entire assignment, and then I'll go through with you and help you fill in each part. So part 1 says complete the table as you conduct the lab. That means you'll take a look at those 4 unknown minerals. You'll just write what their color is. You'll describe their luster. That's sort of a description of how shiny they are. Are they glassy, waxy? You can use several different adjectives there to describe sort of the shine or the appearance. Next, you'll describe the streak. And like I said, that is the color once that is scratched on a piece of porcelain glass. And then for hardness, there is a hardness scale, but the data that you're given in this experiment is only whether it is harder or softer than glass. And so that's what you would type in here. The second part asks you to identify those unknown minerals. And so you're also given a chart that tells you about the color, the luster, the streak, and the hardness. And so for our first unknown mineral, it's gray in color. So when we look here, we really only have one that even fits that color, but let's make sure the rest of it makes sense. Is it sort of metallic? Yeah, I would say that. It has sort of a metallic shine to it. The streak is lead gray, and that's what we see over here when we take a look at the streak test. And it is softer than glass. And so when we look at the streak test, the mineral was not able to make a scratch on this glass surface. So yes, it is softer than glass. And then that tells you that galena is the identity of the first unknown mineral. So for mineral number 1, you could write galena. Okay, moving on to the analysis questions. It says, why is it important to examine both the color and the streak? So in order to answer that question, you would look here and you would see that there are some minerals that have the same color. There are several here that are have the color white, but they have different streaks. And so that would help you identify something that maybe has the same color. That streak and color test can be different. It's asking in the 4th question, is luster a good characteristic to use to identify minerals? So just explain whether or not that you think that's a characteristic that helps in mineral identification. For number 5, you have been given a sample of quartz, which has a hardness of 7. How can you use this to determine the hardness of other minerals? So once you know that something is a hardness of 7, how can you use that information to help you identify other things, other minerals? And the final question says, which property or properties did you find most useful in the identification of the samples? So this is really, you have a lot of freedom in this question. Put the answer that makes most sense to you. What of the properties did you find to be most helpful in making the identification of these minerals over here? Again, the information that you need is here in this video, so you can take a look at these unknowns. It is in lesson 3.7 under the Learn tab for lesson 3.07, and that is identification of unknown minerals. That's all you need to complete the lab. Let me know if I can help you in any way, and keep up the great work. Thanks, everyone.